Can we just start off by talking about Penta's debut? Because I feel
No,
like
I mean, I don't see a world. Why not?
listen, this was huge, right? Like we had like this Penta debut and honestly, like I was really thrilled with it.
Dude, so was I. I was very, very ecstatic about this. Like, when we talk about like what great debuts look like, this is 1000% when it comes down to presentation, booking, the emotional promo after. Like, if you want to create a quote unquote superstar, which WWE, we know that that's what they always shoot for and what they try to do, they hit that on the head. That was outstanding. I was so excited when I seen him. And one thing I'll say about the debut is they didn't get rid of anything about Penta.
Yeah.
If anything, they just added more to Penta by allowing him to talk on a microphone.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Which was crazy. Beautiful. I did not expect him to drop a promo. Chris in the chat says Ango said yesterday they should kick off with Penta, and they did. So that is true. WWE Raw kicked off with a segment with Seth and Drew and Punk, which was such an awesome way to lean right into the Penta debut. Like that's a great way to hook people in. But they had Penta and Chad Gable go out there, and honestly, I know Myra. First, again, Myra, thank you for the super chat. But I know Myra and I can go back and find the old streams of where we talked about our love for the Lucha Bros. And we always kind of felt like they were, like they had their cool moments in AEW, but they were never really given that opportunity to be given the ball and run the tag team division. And, you know, as people who are fans of them, I'm sure even for Myra, like I could speak for myself, but I could probably speak for Myra here. It was nice to see Penta in a situation where like he was truly given that opportunity to just like go out there, you know,
Penta and run with the ball.
He ran with the ball. His presentation was cool. You know, the flames, the music, you know, like in a weird way, his music kind of reminds me of Seth Rollins.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Which it kind of reminded me of that. But I thought it was like a really dope introduction to who this guy is. And honestly, like, I don't think a lot of people are giving enough credit to, I don't think people are giving enough credit to Chad Gable, but Chad Gable is like the MVP of the WWE, in my opinion, because he, you know, he has this amazing storyline chasing the IC title. Then that obviously kind of changes. And then it's like, you know, you do all this stuff with Gunther, and then like you're finally getting to the point where people are just ready for you. And then like he's putting over the Wyatt Six, and then he's putting over Penta. But Chad Gable goes out there and literally makes magic with him. There was only one instance where Penta had gone out there and made a mistake, and that was when he was doing the rope, leg drop off the rope. But that was in the beginning of the match. He's feeling it out. Everything else after that just simply clicked. And then we obviously get the post-match promo, which I think that was WWE. Honest to God, I think that was WWE putting their middle finger to AEW. Like, I think that was genuinely them being like, you know what? You guys, everybody says Penta needs a manager. Everybody says he needs somebody to talk for him. And I think to a certain degree, like after hearing him hit his promo, he doesn't really need somebody to talk for him, but it could probably elevate him to a certain extent. But I thought when he was cutting that promo and he was talking, that was pure passion. And the crowd, you know, a San Jose crowd went crazy for Penta's debut. And it doesn't get better than that. And then, he, like I said, they let him talk, and it was like a big middle finger to AEW because he didn't talk in AEW. And maybe there's a little bit of mystery with a masked man who doesn't cut promos. Yeah. But at the same time, too, this guy just fulfilled his life's dream. And
he made that very clear.
He made that very clear. And then he said that WWE is his new home. And then I really loved how he kind of ended his promo like, oh, this is a new era, right? This is the Netflix new era. This is the Penta new era. And I love that because I feel like, yes, I miss Rey Fenix and I want Rey Fenix to join him. But I think when it comes to a debut, it doesn't get better than that. And I want to say this too. And Billy, I want to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah.
But I almost feel as if, and I've said this before, it may not be a bad idea for Penta to go singles completely. until Rey Fenix is ready. Have him go for a championship, whether it's the US or IC title. Have him do a singles run. Experiment with his singles run. And if he is killing it in a singles role, then bring Rey Fenix into the WWE also as a singles guy on the opposite brand. And give them both solo pushes.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that working. I mean, obviously, they're going to push Penta as a single star right now. I'm not opposed to what you're saying because I actually think that'll probably be the route that they take. If Penta's already made a name for himself and it's already moving in the direction that it's moving, I don't see WWE stopping that just so they can put them in a tag team. Now, eventually, later down the line, can they do that, and will they probably get to that? Absolutely. I mean, it's the Lucha Bros. They're going to want to see them together in WWE. It's kind of like DIY, right? It's what they did with Ciampa, and it's what they did with Johnny. Hey, go out, do your own thing. Let's test the waters. Let's see. We'll eventually get you guys together. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I think they can do the exact same thing in this scenario. If Rey Fenix win, and because I can imagine we can all agree that he'll be in WWE sooner rather than later, is that when they do that, yeah, put him on the opposite brand. Put him on SmackDown. Let him take the ball with SmackDown. Let him go show who he is. And I mean, when you think about presentation, you have to think to yourself, Rey Fenix was watching last night like, oh my goodness, I want this.
Yeah. Oh, I think that. Yeah, I think that's. I mean, I put out the tweet. I think everybody in AEW looks at that. Jade Cargill comes in, keeps her name, similar presentation, but even more elevated, better. Ethan Page comes in, gets hot shotted into NXT. Brian Pillman Jr. comes into NXT and actually gets utilized on TV, becomes a prominent figure on TV, gets rebranded, but it's his choice. He decides to leave the Brian Pillman name, and he decides, Tony Khan likes to live off the history. Lexis King wants to build a new legacy for himself. I think we could even look at CM Punk. I mean, when he came back to WWE, his presentation was stellar. I mean, the theme music was unlike anything we've ever heard before. But no, in all seriousness, WWE has done a really good job of bringing in people from AEW to WWE and giving them like elevated presentation, allowing them to kind of be themselves. This isn't how it was where in 2016, we were worried if AJ Styles would come in with a new name type of thing, right? Like this is like, we've gotten to the point where we could very comfortably say, I trust Triple H with bringing in somebody from AEW.
And that's so cool.
It's very cool, but it's even more impressive when you see somebody like Penta come in and WWE is already leaking his merch and they're purposely making it clear that he's coming in and they're purposely hyping him up. And on top of that, they said, you know what? Go out there and wrestle.
Run with it.
Wrestle. And because here's the thing too, and I gotta say, this made me very proud.
Okay.
Penta goes out there, Michael Cole on commentary, talking about his accolades outside of WWE. He has enough accolades outside of WWE to discuss them. The AEW stuff doesn't need to be brought up. And for those people who are saying, oh, well, that's because WWE views AEW as competition. Yes.
Phil, we met Super Chat at $9.99. Penta's debut was awesome.
I mean,
presentation was great.
Do you expect them not
the
to?
Moveset in that promo was incredible. Now, could he have a mouthpiece? Yes, but the narrative of him having to be mute is crazy.
Sorry, Billy. We had a Super Chat interrupt us.
Yeah. That's all right.
$9.99 from Phil. He says Penta's debut was awesome. Presentation was great. No nerfing of the moveset, and that promo was incredible. Now could he have a mouthpiece? Yes, but the narrative of having him to be mute is crazy. And that was also another thing. A lot of people say that, oh, he can't talk, he can't cut a promo, he can't do anything. My brother, I don't need everybody to cut a promo like Roman Reigns. I don't need everybody to cut a promo like Seth Rollins. I don't need cinematic or a masterpiece. Sometimes I just want to hear somebody's passion. And what we saw yesterday was somebody's passion, and that developed into a really good promo. What's your response to that, Billy?
I mean, absolutely, right? I mean, Penta looked, like I said, he looked the part, he played the part. You could tell that instantly he was important. I don't think he needs a mouthpiece. I don't think that's something that they have to utilize. I know in AEW they gave him and Rey Fenix a mouthpiece and stuff like that. Just let that guy go out there and be himself. We seen last night what his passion looks like. We know how determined he is. and instantly they made him a star. So yeah, I mean, he doesn't let that man go wrestle. Let him go show who he is.
Yeah. Shout out to Phil for the $9.99 super chat. Also, I want to give a shout out to Justin Kennington. He dropped a super chat for $1.99. He says, I want to see Penta versus Braun for the IC title at Mania. You know, this is tough because we're technically on the road to WrestleMania. Did Penta come in a little too late for something like that? Billy, what do you think?
No, I mean, I don't think so. I think, I mean, obviously, we see the stuff with Braun Breaker and Sheamus right now, and they're about to go face for the Intercontinental Championship at Saturday night's main event. I don't think he's too late. I think with the IC title, I think you have just the perfect amount of time. We talked a little bit yesterday about a potential 6-man match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Why not do that for the Intercontinental Championship?
Yeah.
Make the Intercontinental Championship important. This is probably going to be the best time to do so. So when we talk about a guy like Aleister Black potentially coming back into the WWE, that's where he could fit in, because there's a lot of people right now that could potentially go for the Intercontinental Championship. It's supposed to be a prestigious title. Make it prestigious at all times.
You know, it's really interesting that you bring that up, because I love the fact that even with Justin's super chat, it's like everybody's immediately thinking Braun Breaker will be the IC champion by WrestleMania. And it's actually really interesting to hear this, because Braun Breaker is being set up, obviously, for Saturday night's main event. They did confirm that last night on Raw. So Braun Breaker versus Sheamus. And I love that. I love that feud. I love how it's going. I love how they're building that up. But when I look at Raw, I do feel like Penta fits into the Intercontinental Championship picture immediately. But what's even more insane, right? Like, and I love this aspect of it too. Nobody is talking about the potential match between Penta and Gunther, which Gunther, by the way, has come out and said the person who chops the hardest in wrestling is Penta, right? So, like, there's already matchups for the World Heavyweight Championship that could excite me with Penta. And I know WWE won't do this because WWE is just really funny with how they conduct business at the world title scene. But I would just say, forget about the IC title. I would say, have Penta go and literally win Money in the Bank in 2025. Win Money in the Bank and be the luchador that shocks the entire world when he goes and cashes in. Like, I would literally love to see something like that, because it would be so different from anything WWE has done. We see Tiffany Stratton's cash in, and it's awesome. And then we see how it is with like Drew McIntyre, for example, or some of these other people that have carried Money in the Bank. Like, we've seen the way the briefcase goes. Imagine if Pentagon Jr., right? If Penta were to go and win Money in the Bank, which, by the way, he would do fantastic in the ladder match. But imagine if he won Money in the Bank and shocked everybody by successfully cashing in. Like, I'm not saying it's realistic, but what I'm saying is, that's how I view Penta, like, as a singles guy. Like, this guy can easily have a breakthrough moment in WWE, and I don't know why, but a lot of people seem to like not want him to break through. And I'm looking at this as an opportunity to say, use this as an opportunity to show the world that you will use a star from Mexico differently, and show the world that you will use international talent differently, like they are the big stars they could be. And I think for Triple H, there's so much opportunity there, because if Gunther holds the World Heavyweight Championship for as long as, summer 2025, man, you have Penta win the Money in the Bank and cash in on Gunther, and then it leads to a singles feud with them, and they're having matches and bangers and shit. Like, I know people wouldn't like that, but I'm just saying I would like it because it would be so different.
Yeah, I mean, so hear me. I think WWE, I think Penta is going to be that. I think you talking about is probably something that's actually going to happen. That seems more like, we know that WWE is often criticized for the way that they utilize talent from other countries and stuff like that, especially ones like Rey Mysterio, just numerous Mexican wrestlers, and how much WWE has been criticized over the years for the way that they are utilized. I think now Penta is the perfect opportunity to show that, hey, we offer diversity. We are different. This guy is a star. None of that matters. Let's put him at the top of the chopping block, and